Hey folks, today we're going to highlight the Yamaha PX-3, a fully automatic linear tracking turntable from 1981. So this turntable comes from a series by Yamaha, really incredible series of linear trackers, starting with the PX-1, which I believe was introduced in 1979, then the PX-2 in 1980, and finally the PX-3 in 1981. I believe it was offered for 2 or 3 years in the early 80s. Now, made in Japan, Yamaha unit, and just as a point of reference, this was $670 in 1981. So this was definitely at the premium side of the turntable segment. And for kind of a point of reference, in that same year in 1981, a Technics 1200 Mark II, and just picked that one out because it's familiar with a lot of vintage turntable enthusiasts, very popular DJ turntable. Excellent turntable, by the way. That one was $400. So this was very much a premium unit, and excellent build quality and excellent performance, as we'll see. So this particular unit, I'd say easily near mint. Nothing stands out from the standpoint of cosmetic issues. I guess the most notable thing is that I have upgraded the feet with solid aluminum feet. I really basically chose these. I mean, they're great feet, but chose them more than anything to really echo the look of the edge of the platter. So let's go ahead and lift the lid. One of the things that I love about these units is the really distinctive styling. So, you know, it may not be for everybody, and it wasn't copied extensively by others, so it remains very distinctive to this day. But again, the condition is excellent. Upgraded feet. One thing I like about these they're aluminum, but kind of the silver tone brushed aluminum feet is they kind of slim the plinth a bit. A lot of the bulk of the turntable is actually in a you know, the turntable itself. There's the base. It's on a heavy metal base here, and it goes down and just really probably only 5 millimeters over the table surface on the whole center. So this part gives the appearance of standing up, and really sharp looking turntable. So I probably have gone on a bit too much about that, but distinctive styling. So clearly linear tracking. It's a direct drive, so a nice strong direct drive motor and fully automatic. So let's we'll get into a demo. We'll also talk a little bit about the restoration. So these tables, there's 3 issues, say reliability issues around these tables. One is that the carriage assembly, which is unique on riding on a wide rubber belt. That carriage assembly has a tendency to kind of stick over time and not move reliably. The second is the control buttons will get kind of gummy, particularly the arm control buttons, which, well, might as well demo it right now. They are 2-position buttons. When you press them down halfway, the arm moves slowly, and when you press them down fully, the arm moves quick, and that happens in both directions. Now you also notice that when you move the arm out, the platter begins spinning. So let's just go back to the home position for now. So these control buttons will become unreliable. And then finally the tone arm. The tone arm, the cueing mechanism for the tone arm will get gummed up over time. Just the grease hardens over time. So when essentially the restoration of this turntable addresses those issues as well. So the key one being the belt, and there's a lot of different ways. If you go out on the forums, there's a lot of different things people do to make the belt work, even to the point of like automotive belt dressings and so forth. But focus here is something that's it's going to be function perfectly and be very reliable over many years. So the belt in this case has been removed, cleaned. When it's reassembled, I flip it left to right. So any set in the belt, or kind of working against any set, that natural set in the rubber that's occurred, and helps as well. The third thing is adjusting the spring tension. So over the years, that spring tension on the belt, there's 3 springs underneath, that will relax. So just getting the appropriate amount of tension. Those 3 things, as well as probably as important as those 3 things, is essentially disassembling the entire mechanism, all the idlers and pulleys in that assembly, disassembling all that, cleaning it, reassembling it with the appropriate lubricants, basically reducing the overall friction in that assembly as much as possible. So carriage has been addressed. Second is the control. So all of these controls, all these panels need to be taken out. So if you notice, these controls sit out in the open. And so, dust and whatever, cooking oils or whatever over time accumulate in there, and then the buttons become unreliable. So actually remove the buttons, desolder them from the board so that I can soak them in contact cleaner and deox it. I probably activate each one, probably 1,000 times, particularly these 2-position switches. And when using a table like this, or any piece of gear, you want the buttons to be absolutely reliable. When you press the button, you want to make sure that that's what's going to happen. Then the tone arm. So the tone arm assembly was disassembled, and then all that old grease cleaned out, and then reassembled with fresh damping grease. So as you'll see when you get to the demo, the ultra smooth. And then the 4th thing, just a general reliability issue. So all the electronics, the motor as well as the system board, have been recapped. So all the electrolytic capacitors have been replaced with high quality Nichicon replacements, and so that just ensures reliability over time. This is not something you're going to have to worry about, hopefully for decades. And then final thing is just an overall detail and polish. So the lid's been polished, the platter's been polished. I mean, the unit just presents beautifully. So from the standpoint of function, look, and feel, just really incredible piece. So let's do a demo. And so just a note. I think we can play and you can hear me. So quick review. So power switch, I actually have it on already, and then the speed, 33 and 45. When it comes up to speed, you'll see the locked, and that indicates that the quartz locked. So this table does have a quartz lock so excellent speed control. The arm control buttons, which we demonstrated, the cue down. So this section here is for using the table manually, and then this section here is for using the table automatically. It actually says automatic here and control over here. So when you play, you either press the 30 or the 17 disc size. So 17s would be a 45, equivalent to a 45 RPM 7-inch record, and the 30s equivalent to a 12-inch 33 RPM. Then cut or repeat. So let's press, in this case, let's just press 30. Now, one neat thing about this table, in its park position, it's cued upwards, and I don't know if you noticed it, but this is probably one of the, if you're an impatient person, it's probably one of the quickest turntables from the point at which you press that button to the point at which you have music. So it's queued up already, so it doesn't have to go up, and then the arm is actually pretty close to the record. So just a minor point, but yeah, it's just kind of cool. And so just let's look at the auto controls now. Or yeah, let's finish the auto control. So if I press cut, it will raise itself and then return to the park position. We'll look at that auto in the 12. Let's look at auto 17. So actually, I'll do a 45 RPM record later, so we don't have to show it go there on a 12-inch record. But let's go ahead and go into the play position again automatically. So your cue down is super smooth. In the meantime, the quartz lock engaged, a very strong direct drive motor. Now, At this point, if you press the arm up or move buttons, so the move button is also double as the arm up buttons. So I just press one of those, the arm will now come up. If I'd held it down, it would begin moving, but again, we can demonstrate that. I'm at an angle to the table, but one advantage of the linear tracker, among many, is that it's very easy to pick a track, so you can sight where you are in the track. Let's just go near the end or at the end and just we demonstrate the pickup. I think I'm near the end there. Actually, it's just past the end. So I wanted to kind of hit one of the notes about a linear tracker. So kind of the reason for the linear tracker is that the arm is tracking. So your cartridge, your needle, your arm is tracking tangential. Your head shell, all that is tracking tangentially to or parallel with the record groove. So inherently, very essentially zero error from the standpoint of tracking. Now there is a myth, I've heard this, that when it's playing, essentially your record groove is pushing the tone arm over, and that's not the case at all, particularly with the Japanese direct drives, which used photo sensors and servo control. So the arm itself actually pivots in play mode. It pivots freely on its pivot point, just like a normal pivoted tone arm. And what there is a little tab down in there, which a tab and a photo sensor. So as that tab interrupts the light either in one direction or another, it indicates to the arm to, essentially say, hey, keep up. I'm moving along, keep up. So there's no bearing on one side or the other of the record groove. In fact, and I think this is probably a less talked about advantage of the linear tracker, is that there's no need for anti-skate. So a traditional pivoted tone arm, because of the geometry of having overhang and an angle on the head shell, an inward force is generated toward the center of the disc, which then needs to be counteracted with a opposing pulling force, which is your anti-skate. And so anti-skate is always a compromise, but one of the things I think makes a linear tracker perform so well is that there's no need for anti-skate. The needle is essentially just riding right in the center of the groove without forces either way, and so nice dynamic balance, stereo separation, and so forth. And just by the way, I love both kinds. Excellent pivoted arm table, well adjusted and calibrated, can be excellent as well. So I love them all. But I think we've hit most of the points, and let's do the demo of, so if we press cut, I think we showed that before, but that just parks the turntable. And let's just show now one thing, the PX-3, it does have quartz lock. It doesn't have electronic braking of the platter. So many high-end Japanese direct drives did have that. Let me jump in here. I need to get this is actually a Sony adapter, but you just ignore that. So you need to select 45 manually. And this table does not have, say, automatic size or speed selection. You choose to play a 45, and then press the appropriate button, and then it will do it. And just a note, I'll cut that. Probably already have a copyright strike, but I won't press my luck there. Just a note, point of this demo is not to demonstrate the audio performance because you're listening through my my camera microphone. So just a note there, but it is a phenomenal sounding deck. Now I do, just a point about cartridges, I do have a essentially entry-level cart mounted on this, just so that the next owner can be up and running, you know, immediately. And it's a nice cart, it works well, but I'd fully anticipate that, you know, this table can handle certainly a very nice cart, and that would be upgraded. A note on cartridges for the Yamaha. I think, in my opinion, and I think this is the opinion of others, they seem to work really well, and it's probably just related to the mass and geometry of the tone arm with moving coil cartridges. So examples such like, I think, what's one, Sumiko Blue Point, Denon 103, you know, so some of your nice moving coil cartridges. In fact, Yamaha originally fitted this with a moving coil when it was sold new. So I think what else we can hit on this one. I think we hit it all, and I appreciate you hanging with me if you have this far. I love these tables. It's a pleasure. I love working on them. I love having them and playing them, and then talking about them and presenting them to you. So have a great day. Thanks so much. Bye.